We are just days away from 76ers Media Day, the start of training camp, and the preseason, and we just got a huge update on Quentin Grimes and his restricted free agency from ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania. We'll get into what he had to say here on today's 76ers Now. Jake Chipper here with you, but before we do, Sixers fans woke up to some fantastic news here on this Wednesday, September 24th, as the Sixers have officially announced and officially debuted the look of the new 2025-26 throwback uniforms, of course, in ode to Allen Iverson and those early 2000 Sixers teams. Specifically, this is the 25th anniversary of that 2000-2001 team that made it all the way to the NBA Finals. And I did a short on this earlier on the channel detailing my thoughts on the jerseys, but man, they did a fantastic job. I've been seeing it everywhere on Twitter. Fans of any fan base are just talking about how sweet these jerseys look. Again, I think they did awesome. I was, expecting these to look great, right? Because obviously in the early 2000s, they did look great. But man, as you go through the players here and, some of the details on the jersey, I like that they didn't really switch it up too much. A little bit of a modern look, of course. You don't want to just copy and paste the exact same jerseys from 25 years ago and put them on today's players. But man, the vibes of the jerseys are sick. So many of the players look good in these jerseys. I'm telling you right now, these jerseys will be available for purchase starting on October 15th. You can actually get them before the preseason game against the Timberwolves on October 17th at Wells Fargo, or I guess now Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sorry, I have to get used to that. And when that's available for purchase, I am going to be getting one immediately. Probably a Tyrese Maxey one, but all the players' jerseys look clean. I'm so happy with what they did. And finally, some good vibes heading into this season. So they are finally here. We knew they were coming, but we had yet to see what the look of them actually was. And I think the Sixers did a great job on this one. So if you are excited for the return of the AI-era jerseys, first I'm going to be wearing these November 8th, I believe, against the Toronto Raptors. If you're excited to see the Sixers wear these jerseys, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. All right, so let's get into it. This big new report from ESPN NBA insider Shams Charania, breaking the news here just a few hours ago that Quentin Grimes and the Sixers, no surprise here, they are still far apart on a deal. Again, we are just days away from training camp, media day, and the preseason, and under a month from the start of the regular season. I mean, what is going on, Daryl Morey? Here's what Shams had to say regarding Grimes and the Sixers. I'm told both of these sides are very far apart on a deal. Quentin Grimes' agent, this is important, this is coming from Grimes' agent here, told me today that it was the first time the Sixers made a formal hard offer to Grimes as a restricted free agent. We are months into free agency. Today, the first day the Sixers gave Grimes an offer. Grimes will not be attending Sixers Media Day Friday, will not be traveling with a team this weekend as the Sixers travel to Abu Dhabi to play the Knicks in a couple preseason games. These sides are staring at that $8.7 million qualifying offer or a sign and trade or potentially a 1-year larger deal. Look, I thought by this point in the offseason, again, training camp's coming up soon, a week away from the qualifying offer deadline, I thought a Grimes deal would have gotten done by now. Daryl Morey, what are we doing, man? Look, I know the Sixers have all the leverage in this scenario, so, no real reason for the Sixers to rush things and overplay their hand when the leverage is on their side, but at some point, a deal has to get done, and there's no reason for this scenario to drag out this long. Your whole offseason has been based on making sure you retain Quentin Grimes. You let Gershon Yabusele go to the rival New York Knicks so you could have the money to pay Quentin Grimes. And it is September 24th, and you still have not paid Quentin Grimes. Figure it out. Now, Shams Charania detailed 3 options for Grimes and the Sixers moving forward, because at this point, all we can do now is look forward at how a deal could possibly get done. Doesn't matter how long it's taken. Here we are now, right? So there's 3 options that Shams Charania laid out. Either they agree to take the $8.7 million qualifying offer for Quentin Grimes, they agree to a sign and trade, send Grimes to another team, or Grimes takes a 1-year deal that's larger than the 1-year deal of the $8.7 million qualifying offer. So let's run through each of these options really quickly here. As I mentioned, we're about a week away from the qualifying offer deadline, meaning once we reach October 2nd, October 1st is that last day, The qualifying offer is off the table, right? Grimes can no longer, and the Sixers can no longer agree with Grimes to take that $8.7 million qualifying offer. He would still be a restricted free agent after that date, but now there's no fallback option for Grimes. The Sixers can offer him literally whatever they want, and he can't sign with anybody else because he is restricted. Now, that deadline can be extended if it's agreed upon by both teams, but that is a date to monitor here, just about a week away from that. But I don't think the qualifying offer is smart for Quentin Grimes, really for a few reasons. One, if he takes the qualifying offer, he gets a no trade clause in this 1-year deal. And the Sixers wouldn't be able to retain his bird rights either, meaning that if they did keep him for all of this season on the qualifying offer, they wouldn't be able to go over the salary cap next summer to sign him. So he wouldn't be able to come back to the Sixers, and the Sixers knowing that, and knowing that he has a no trade clause, they have no incentive to really play him and help him up his value because they know he's not going to be on this team next year. And they also know that they have no control over if they trade him, where they trade him, because Grimes would have the no trade clause. It also doesn't make sense for him to bet on himself in this scenario because, again, he's not going to play as well as he did at the end of last year. So betting on yourself, taking that qualifying offer, I don't think is smart for Grimes. And I don't think a sign-in trade is going to happen either. The Sixers have said they want Grimes on this roster this season. And guys, it is almost October. A sign-in trade at this point is not happening. NBA rosters are set. Who are they signing trading Grimes for? I know some people have been mentioning the Houston Rockets with the Fred VanVleet injury. The Rockets don't have a lot of flexibility in terms of making a trade right now. And when you trade restricted free agents, there's a lot of financial rules that apply that don't apply in other sign-and-trade scenarios. So I don't think a sign-and-trade is going to happen either. And then we got this from Tony Jones today, who covers the Sixers for The Athletic, formerly covered the Utah Jazz, now has started covering the Philadelphia 76ers. Mentioned the Shams Charania report that the Sixers and Grimes are far apart, but he was told the Sixers are still very much value Grimes and see him as an important piece of this year's roster. Now, look, I think sometimes your actions speak louder than words, and the fact that they still haven't signed him, is he really that important to you guys? Maybe, but I do believe they want him on this team regardless of how much they do value him. So I don't think a sign and trade makes much sense. Now, the third option that Shams Charania mentioned was a 1-year deal that was larger than the qualifying offer. So maybe a 1-year, $10 to $12 million deal. And it certainly could make some sense because then Grimes could waive the no trade clause. So at least the Sixers would have control over where they could trade him so that they would want to play him and up his value. So at the deadline, they could move him. But as far as I'm aware right now, doing some research in the NBA, man, with the CBA and their salary rules and their trading rules, it's ridiculous. But as far as I'm aware, if he did sign a 1-year deal and the Sixers did trade him, even if it's above the qualifying offer, whatever team they traded him to would not get his bird rights, which again means they wouldn't be able to go over the salary cap to bring Grimes back. So why would a team want to do that, knowing they probably won't be able to bring Quentin Grimes back in the offseason anyways? So I actually also don't know if this move makes sense. Now, the move I do think makes sense for Grimes and the Sixers after going through all of this, none of the options that Shams Charania offered in his report. I think what's going to happen here, and what makes the most sense for both sides, for Grimes to sign a 2-year contract with the Sixers with a team option on that second year, and then they play him, he gets his value up, he is then traded at this year's trade deadline. Maybe like a 2-year, $25 to 2-year, $30 million contract, somewhere in that kind of range, 10 to maybe up to $15 million, probably more 10 to 12, that allows the Sixers, again, they can keep him this year, next year if they really want to. They have the team option, so they can just decline the team option at the end of this year, or you trade him at the deadline. Whatever team you trade him to would get his bird rights. They would have him for this year, possibly next year as well, with that team option, and boom. It makes sense for both sides. Grimes can try to get more money next offseason or the year after, and the Sixers with VJ Edgecombe kind of taking over that spot. Both sides end up remaining happy. At this point, with where I'm at with this whole Grimes situation, man, just get the deal done. The Sixers oftentimes have so many distractions heading into training camp, right? We had the Ben Simmons stuff years ago. We had the James Harden stuff a couple of years ago with him holding out. Now we got Quentin Grimes holding out. Are you kidding me, man? Things just never can go smoothly for this 76ers team, even if the vibes are a little bit better. And of course, I wake up today and I see the news of the jerseys dropping. I'm all happy. I'm all excited just to see this a few hours later. It's unbelievable that a deal has not been able to be reached yet. I know the Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga are dealing with the same thing right now, so the Sixers aren't alone in this situation. But that's a little bit different with Kuminga and the Warriors. I think there's no reason Grimes and the Sixers cannot come to a deal sooner rather than later. Get him on this team, if nothing else, to at least be able to trade him at the trade deadline. But I really did think that this was going to play out differently than it has. Maybe Grimes isn't a part of this team's long-term future like I had thought for the past couple of months. So that's where we're at right now as it comes to Quentin Grimes. I do expect a resolution somewhat soon, hopefully within the next week or two, so Grimes can be under contract before the regular season. But look, there's a chance that this holdout can continue into the regular season. So predictive for me right now, will Grimes sign with the Sixers before the regular season begins? Again, about a month away. Give me a simple yes or no in the comment section. Sound off how you feel about this whole Grimes situation as well down there in the comment section. As you go down to the comment section as well to get those answers in, you'll see a link for this 76ers Zip Up jacket. A great deal on this item, which once was $85, but you can get it right now for just $30. That is what? $55 off. I know you might not need a heavy jacket like this right now, but look, October, November, December, they are coming quickly, and you're going to want something like this to keep you warm in those cold months. And by the time that rolls around, it's not going to be on sale for $55 off. So take advantage while you can. Click the link, chatsports.com/76ers jacket. Get that amazing deal on this jacket today. That'll do it for today's show. And hopefully we get a resolution somewhat soon on this Quentin Grimes situation. But as always, we'll keep you up to date on everything going on with the Sixers, with Quentin Grimes, and with training camp getting started up here on Saturday and Media Day on Friday. So if you want to stay in the know on everything going on with the Philadelphia 76ers, be sure to hit that sub button.